Sawyer here. Sawyer. Okay, February 15th, 2013. Approximately 4 years after the Edmonton fireball and the February 15th Texas fireball. Meteor, fireball. I mean, the media is calling it what they can call it. They don't know what these are. Of course, they resemble meteors sometimes. They resemble asteroids sometimes. Basically, the difference between those is the size of them. But the rash that started of what are being called meteors and fireballs as of February 15th of 2013 that have escalated in March of 2013 all over the world, and primarily in the United States, primarily on the east coast of the United States. If you look at the video footage, there's not too much of, but if you look at the video footage that is available, they don't resemble a meteor or an asteroid, something that was burning up in the atmosphere. They look like a flying object, like an airplane or something, but going faster. Even evidencing some I don't know. Well, one of them might be the photograph, or not the photograph. The video footage shows it getting brighter and then dimmer, and there's no sign of smoke or behind it, or like there was in the meteor that hit the Siberian area on February 15th. That one clearly had a plume of steam and smoke and debris in its path behind it. But these that are happening here in March, that actually really took off in intensity with the comet Pan-STARRS. Now the comet Pan-STARRS came out of nowhere basically, and it survived its pass by the sun, which was marked it as being unusual because of its size. I guess it's not considered to be that big, but not like Hale-Bopp. Well, Hale-Bopp was considered to be, I think, 2.5 miles across in its nucleus, so it was the biggest nucleus that they'd ever seen. But But pan stars, they say, came from Pluto. Now, Pluto is interesting that it would come from Pluto, because Pluto is the planet that Tiendo made a movie about, helped write a script about in the 80s, 1980s, that showed Pluto to be a basically hollowed out laboratory spacecraft that had a big like door that opened up like those like a mesh that came together and kind of opened up like in a spiral form to let spacecrafts in and out. And then inside of it they had one of the depictions in this movie that Tiendo had Alodi draw an airbrush into a picture was of an Earth lab. And the Earth lab basically was a replica of the Earth, as if you were looking at a globe, like a round globe, like people have, that shows the Earth and you can spin it and stuff. But this one was to scale, but the scale was like a 100-story building, maybe, or maybe less than that, but approximately that size, because he also drew in little people, or members of the next level that were actually part of that lab. And it even showed the 4 spacecrafts on the 4 corners, which I think are depicting the 4 living beings and also depicting the 4 winds. I think those are crews actually of members of the next level that are actually, who knows what they're doing, what all their tasks are, but it could be observational, it could be messenger delivery, it could be simulation of weather systems, it could be whatever. It's all part of the next level's operation of this planet that they created and they manage as their garden for growing souls. And so the comet Pan stars had an object in the front of its head that was photographed from the ground. Because you can see in the photograph, you can see a jet that has a trail behind the picture of the comet. 2 different forms of picture. I guess 2 different kinds of light for the shutter speed or whatever. I don't know how what they did there. But both those pictures, and it may be the same picture that's processed differently, but it shows this little tiny dot of a black dot that's at the head of the comet. It's a black dot, so it can't be a star, because if it was a star, it would be showing the reflection of the light off of it. And I can't find that picture on the web anymore, but I got it off of spaceweather.com, and I copied it, so I have a copy of it, and I posted it on my Sawyer Heaven's Gate page, along with the postings of the Hale-Bopp comet with its companion object photographed by the Japanese and by the Hawaii people, even though the Hawaii people, when Chuck Shamreck brought that photo to Art Bell in 1996 as evidence of a companion object, basically it started an uproar that after Doe and the class laid down their lives in 1997, talking about the Hale-Bopp being the sign they were waiting for, not the reason for laying down their lives, but the timing of laying down their lives. Art Bell freaked out, and either with his cooperation or whatever, he stopped talking about the companion object and he and the Hawaii people came up with this photograph that they said that companion object that Chuck Shamrock was thinking was a companion object was a refraction of light. And so that photograph I provided also on that post I made on Sawyer Heaven's Gate, which I need to put that post on my blog so it's there more semi-permanently. So, the reason you can tell that in these photographs that the object with the Hale-Bopp comet in particular is not a star or a refraction of light, well, I can't speak to why it wouldn't be a refraction of light, but I can speak to that in the photograph from the Japanese astronomers, it shows all the stars to have an oblong look to them. And it has to do with the time-lapse photography, because those far objects are further away, so there's a shift in what we see actually when you take a picture of a star. And I don't know, maybe they account for that sometimes when they take pictures of stars and they adjust it, or somehow in the processing of the photograph digitally, maybe they do something to it, because I can't remember seeing that in some cases. Or maybe that's because maybe that happens because of the difference between the comet and stars. Maybe if you just take a picture of stars, they all look the same. I don't know, I'm guessing now why that's not the case. I think they take pictures of the stars all the time and they don't look oblong. So there's a little piece of that puzzle that I don't clearly see. But in any case, the Hale-Bopp comet doesn't look oblong, and the object that's with it doesn't look oblong. And they're both the Hale-Bopp comet and this other object are both the same kind of brightness, but the comet, you can see the light dispensing, from its tail, I guess, because the comet was photographed to have 7 jets and was actually rotating in that 2.5 mile wide nucleus. And those jets were all spewing out energy. I think what scientists are telling us that these comets are made out of has accuracy to it, but it's not the whole picture. I think you've got a very sophisticated device in those comets. I also wanted to provide the pictures from the fresco pictures, the paintings done by Fresco in the I think the 1200s AD, of a picture of a person, clearly a person, sitting inside a comet, going through the sky. And there's a bunch of pictures that you can find on the web of frescoes and other painters depicting objects in the sky.